Well, for those of you guys who are wondering what we're going to be talking about today, something has happened recently in the Hazbin Hotel fandom, which was originally good news for a lot of us, and now it's become somewhat somber and now a complete drama topic, honestly, which is really sad because we just got news that A24 has definitely begun production on Hazbin Hotel, and we could be expecting episodes as early as like spring of 2022, which is really exciting. We've been waiting a little over 2 years for this, and it's a big deal. Hazbin Hotel came out in October of 2019, and it's great. It's being continued, but unfortunately, there's a lot that we need to know. So, first of all, Hazbin Hotel was presented to us in a different way than most cartoons. This is a big deal, okay? So, in most cartoons, we don't usually see the pilots until years after the cartoon's release, such as with Steven Universe, Gravity Falls, and plenty of other cartoons. And a lot of shows change from the pilot to the actual production. Character designs, voice actors, all of this changes when, it's picked up by a major company, such as A24. Now, this is kind of just par for the course with animation. Now, I will admit, it is shocking to see pretty much every original Hazbin Hotel VA from the pilot recasted, and I'll admit, it depressed me. Yes, I'm really sad about Alistair, Angel Dust, Charlie, Vaggie. Like, they're all their voices are iconic to me, and I've watched the pilot hundreds of times. I mean, I was following it for its 6 years of production, and I've watched Addict millions of times. That song is still in my playlist. And I've watched all the streams and the honeycast, so I know I'm used to these voices just as much as you guys. But there's been a lot of misconception about this. So I want to kind of just break it down and explain to you guys exactly what happened, so you know exactly what the truth is and what's going on. Now, again, I want to tell you guys I'm bummed about the voice changes too. I love the OG cast, and they will forever be the original voice that brought these characters to life. But things always change during production, and that's just a fact. So, the first thing I want to address is the Vizzy fired every voice actor. And why, okay, this is not true at all. Creators don't really have that kind of power, first of all, when it comes to producing their shows. VAs are sort of decided by both the creator and the company. They're like a mix of voting, so not one person has the power to fire everyone unless it violates a legal or business practice. That's the key word. Keep that in mind. Violates a legal or business practice, because in the end, A24 is a company, and producing Hazbin Hotel is a business venture for them. Okay, keep that in mind when we're talking about this. So, the first bit of drama came from a voice actor named Morgan Berry. Now, normally I wouldn't put people on blast like this, but she fucked up. Okay. Morgan Berry came out to start drama and get herself street cred. That's all it was. Morgan Berry is a Funimation voice actor, first of all. She is licensed and a SAG voice actress. So, she knows how the inner workings of the voice acting, job market works. She would be firsthand to know this. But instead, she said sketchy things happened, and shadowy people pulled strings, and basically put the blame towards Vizzy. Now, this is, of course, completely inaccurate, but Vizzy couldn't openly defend herself because of NDAs. And NDAs would also keep the previous fired voice actors and voice actresses from talking about this, too. Outside of their, sad sort of, farewell tweets, they really couldn't go into details, and Vizzy couldn't defend herself. So Morgan put her on blast until finally people stepped out and attacked her, and explained to her that she was wrong, who were outside the cast, people on the animation production, people who could talk about this without having any backlash on their voice acting careers, were like, hey look, you're wrong, this isn't how it went down. And it got so bad that even Michael, the voice of Angel Dust, came out and broke his silence on this situation. He explains very carefully that, A24 is a SAG organization. They required unionized voice actors. Unfortunately, all of Hazbin Hotel's voice actors and voice actresses were indie. That's just a thing. That's just the fact. They were all indie voice actors. They were people Vizzy got to know, and that they were friends of hers. And believe me, having them fired, probably hurt Vizzy a lot too. I mean, it's huge. She loves her characters. And that's all she could tweet, actually, during the situation. She made a tweet when everyone was blasting her, saying that she fired all of her friends and is letting fame go to her head. She literally said, I love my characters, and I believe and I believe that I'm making the best choice to make my show a reality. Now, Michael Kravitz, the voice of Angel Dust, came out and said this openly. The only way non-union actors can enter SAG is by being hired into a SAG production. If a non-union talent were cast into a union project, a Taft-Hartley report would then be filed, making me SAG eligible. Okay, so to explain this in sort of like less detailed terms, basically what Michael's saying here is A24 does require SAG unionized voice actors. In order for him to be cast as Angel Dust, he would need to apply to a talent agency, be selected by that talent agency, then be tafted. The agency would have to push him, like, to SAG, and then he would have to be pitched to the Hazbin Hotel cast and the production. It would take months. This process it's lengthy. Like, it's extremely lengthy. It takes months. Now, of course, none of the indie voice actors thought about this at the time because, again, it kind of probably just didn't cross their minds that, you know, they would require this, but it is legal procedure for businesses like A24. And unions are there to protect workers, so not having union benefits would be worse for the long run. But this is directly from the words of Angel Dust's VA. And I imagine he's probably violating his NDA a little bit by saying this, but he did this to kind of protect Vizzy, his friend, who, Morgan Berry, if you ever see this video, you handled this really fucking bad. You were not professional in the slightest, and for someone who works for Funimation, a SAG-required organization, you should have known this. You purposely started drama to get your Twitter featured and get upvotes, so that way people can start following you more, and that was shady as fuck. So, Michael then goes on to explain more about why he couldn't become a SAG voice actor. He says he does plan to become one in the future, but first he has to be pitched to a talent agency and find one that will take him in. Hopefully maybe Michael will go look towards maybe Funimation, Viz Media, any of those particular organizations, and then once he's pitched, maybe he can come back to Hazbin Hotel under a different character. It's very possible. Or maybe, you know, they could recast later on after they're done releasing the first initial batch of episodes. I highly doubt that, but it's always possible. He then goes on to explain more about what unions and being tafted would and why it's such a lengthy process. And again, he's probably violating his NDA here, but he got tired of seeing the drama spread by the start of this particular VA, Morgan Berry, who I can't believe she did this. Again, I hope Funimation really... I mean, she was forced to take down all of her tweets, so I assumed that her company got onto her, because again, Funimation is also a SAG organization company, so she should know this. I don't know why she would have came on blast to just try to get clout. It's terrible. But he goes on to explain this more and in more detail of what tafting and, you know, just in general. And I wanted to put this picture in at the end here because this art by, I'm going to mispronounce your name, Mad, completely explains everything. Like, we have to trust that Vizzy is doing the best that she can for her characters. I know that all these voice actors and voice actresses were Vizzy's friends. We've seen it on the Honeycast, we've seen it on the streams. You have to know that this hurts Vizzy too. But there have been people coming out in tweets demanding Vizzy explain this. She's not allowed to. NDAs, if she came out and explained it, Hazbin Hotel would be cancelled, and A24 owned the properties of it, so it could never be produced again. You can't come out and explain this stuff directly. It would be like Dana explaining why the Owl House was cut short. She's not allowed to. They can't. They have non-disclosure agreements, and those are legally airtight. You can't break them. They're not a joke, and they will get you sued, canceled, everything in between by these companies. So we have to trust that Vizzy is trying her best. Also, we have to trust that A24 will, in the time that they're looking at voice actors and voice actresses, pick the best possible ones they can find with Vizzy's input. A24 as a studio is known for having a lot of artist freedom on their works, which is good, because this means that when the voice actors and voice actresses do come to audition, Vizzy will have a huge choice in terms of like her influence on picking these new voice actors and voice actresses, and we have to give them a chance. Yes, it's going to be different, and yes, it's going to hurt not to hear the original voices. I agree with you 100%. but we have to trust that this is the best possible way for Hazbin Hotel to be made. Now, I've seen also a lot of comments that I want to address about why didn't Vizzy leave Hazbin Hotel as an indie series on YouTube? Hazbin Hotel is way more expensive to produce than Hell of a Boss. I want you to know that the Hazbin Hotel production, I started following it when I was a freshman in high school. And I am now a full-fledged adult. And it took Hazbin Hotel, 8 years to be produced. One episode for the pilot. And Hazbin Hotel is extremely, expensive and time-consuming, and it requires a lot of animators, a lot of voice actors, a lot of background artists. Unlike Hell of a Boss, where you can kind of cut corners and you have 11-minute episodes, Hazbin Hotel is designed to have 30-minute episodes and be story-driven. They cut a lot of corners when they're making Hell of a Boss, so that way, they can make the action scenes look good, but if you go and pause some of the non-action scenes, it does lack a lot of, effect from the pilot. And the only way Hazbin Hotel was ever going to be made into a franchise series is with serious money backing it. And serious productions. So there was no way for it to continue to be that indie series on YouTube that we watched the production of. I mean, one episode took over 7 years. So seriously, think about this. As you guys say, I'm not going to watch Hazbin Hotel because they changed the voice actors and Vizzy is a dictator who's let fame go to her head. That is not the case. And all you're doing is hurting artist creations. And it's terrible. Give these UVAs a chance. We haven't heard them yet. There could be some really good VAs brought on. I mean, A24 probably wants talented singers and vocalists for all these characters, considering music is a huge part of Hazbin Hotel. And none of the voice actors are boycotting the series. Even though they can't directly say it, they've been in comments, except for Michael. He came out brave and bless his soul to protect his friend. He came out and purely explained it to stop the drama, but all of them have been saying, support Hazbin Hotel. Support the show and the characters that their voices help bring to life. They don't want to see the show die and hated. They don't want to see Vizzy lynchpinned, okay? This shouldn't be something I have to explain. Some random person on YouTube telling you that this happens. You guys could have gone and found these comments, but instead you took the VA of Morgan Berry, someone who has nothing to do with the Hazbin universe or the production and doesn't even work for A24 for that matter, and you took her words, even though she provided no evidence, and you lynch-pinned Vizzy without any backing. Don't do this. Think and look into things for yourself. You can literally go to A24's website and see that for auditions they require SAG VAs and union actors for all of their productions. This isn't something that's hard to figure out. All you have to do is go do some research. It doesn't take that much time, and I feel like the fact that Michael has to come out and risk, his NDA and the possibility of him getting in trouble just to explain to you guys not to lynch mob and that this wasn't Vizzy's fault, well, this means that you guys are not doing your part in looking into this stuff. Because obviously if they had been cut from the franchise with no love for it at all and just a pure hate by Vizzy, they wouldn't care about their NDAs. They would have just came out and said, hey look, Vizzy's a bad person and she did this and it hurts. No, these guys are sad that they won't be voicing the characters, but at the same time, they want to see the characters still brought to life. And they still want to see the characters that they put their heart and soul in become a reality. And that's the truth of this situation. We can't change the fact that, yeah, we're going to miss their VAs. The original VAs are timeless and we love them. I personally met Charlie's singing VA at a con. She stopped me in my group, in my Alistair cosplay, in our Hazbin Hotel group, and asked us for a picture, and when I realized it was her, I freaked out and fangirled. I loved every second of meeting her. She was so sweet. And I'm sad that she won't be a part of this future production of Hazbin Hotel. Angel Dust's voice is iconic. I've listened to Addict millions of times, and I'm sad too. But I still love the characters. And I love the world that Vizzy's created. And I'm going to continue to support it and following the story, because that's what these voice actors would want. And also, these characters are more than just the voice. So, I think that we should really, really take time I don't usually ask this, but spread this video around on Twitter, please. Like, get people to watch it so they can see the truth and that this random person caused drama for no apparent reason. And take this time to really just wait. Wait for the production and let's see what happens, alright? These voices are going to sound weird at first, but we might get used to them. And there's also, again, a chance that these VAs could come back later in new roles. I think that, like, again, it's sad, it's somber. Because we're feeling almost melancholy in the situation, because we're happy Hazbin Hotel is continuing, but we're sad that, you know, the VAs have to change. But I'm going to wait for the official product. And I know that even though Vizzy, you know, would have wanted to keep these voice actors on, that she had to make this choice because of they require unionized voice actors. And I'm not going to blame A24 and say they're evil either because of this, because this is actually just common for all production agencies. Disney, Cartoon Network, HBO, any animation production agency actually requires unionized voice actors because unions are important to protect workers, to make sure they're not being undercut, underpaid, and all of this. You guys can look up what the workers' union actually is if you don't know, but it's actually something important to have. And yeah, again, it stings, it's sad, it really sucks, but we have to trust Vizzy. She's not going to let these characters be destroyed, okay? She's had, okay, for those of you who don't know, she's had the idea of Alistair since she was 12 years old. She's not going to let these characters die. The idea of Hazbin Hotel she's had since middle school. And she loves these, and she loves her characters. And she loves her fans, and she loves her friends. So, let's trust Vizzy, alright? Let's trust Vizzy, and let's let her make the show that we know and that we're going to love, okay? And that's about all my message for this video. I wanted to explain it. There will be a modcast on this topic that's a bit more lighthearted, and I hope you guys will enjoy that. I'll be releasing probably on Christmas, so yay, Christmas present modcast. But I hope you guys enjoy the video, and Ashi signing out.